Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Everything and Anything podcast with Zara. So happy you're here and that you're listening. First of all, I want to thank you all so much for all of the love and the support for the first episode. I genuinely was so overwhelmed. I literally thought that like 10 people would listen, and that would be like literally my mom and like a couple of my friends. But there's so many of you that tuned in and enjoyed the first episode, and it made me so, so happy. And I hope that at least even one of you was able to take away something good from it and implement it into your life. But, anyways, getting into this episode, I was debating whether or not I wanted to make a second episode for Ramadan, and I just came to the conclusion of why not, you know, if, there's even one person that this could help within the last couple of days, then, I want that reward. Um, but yeah, so let's talk about these last couple of days. This hopefully will be not too long, but I cannot believe how fast this Ramadan has went by. It's kind of scary, but also kind of reminds you of why this month is so special, and it's because it only comes once a year, and when it comes, it really is just one of those things that you have to just make the most of. And once it's too late, it's just too late, like it's just like you get to the end, you get to like Eid or whatever, like when the years go by and you're like, whoa, Ramadan's already passed us by, and like maybe you didn't do as much as you wanted to and stuff, but there's still some time left, there's still a couple of days. So inshallah, there's still time to make the most of it. But that is my first point, is to make the most of every single day and every single night. And in that day aspect is to remember that Ramadan is the time where every reward is multiplied and every good deed is multiplied. Also, I learned this in my fit class recently, but every bad deed is also multiplied. So you should try to stay away from bad as well, even more so during the month of Ramadan. But yes, trying to make the most of every single day and every single night, because of just like, even alone, just the fact that it's being multiplied. Like, you're not going to get this opportunity in the rest of the 11 months. Like, this is the 1 month where every single thing that you do is being multiplied, and is so many opportunity. It's like so much opportunity for reward and good deeds. And it is something that we should really just remember every single day. Everything that I'm saying, by the way, goes to me first, because I can tell you that there could have been improvements. So this all of this advice goes to me first. It's all a reflection for me first, and hopefully in that it will also help you. But yeah, and making the most of the nights as well, especially in these last 10 days. It is, these last 10 days, it is a chance for us to catch a little together. We don't know if it's already happened, but if it hasn't, then there is still a chance for us to catch a little together and make the most of it. And obviously, in that night, it is as if you have done that good deed for 1,000 months. So that's a lot of months, guys. Like, literally, like, even if you can't do anything else, and you have work, and it's just you have to be asleep, like, read Surah Class 3 times and you get the reward of reading the whole Quran. And imagine if you do that every single night, you will catch one of them to be Laylatul Qadr, and it will be as if you read the whole Quran for 1,000 months straight, which is crazy. The second point I wanted to touch on is that something that I watch a lot of the Roots lectures from Qalam, specifically Abdurrahman Murphy, that he touched on in this month, is to keep secrets between you and Allah. So when you do your acts of deeds, and your ibadah and your worship, and you're reading Quran and you're praying and you're doing your charity and everything, and even when you're like talking to Allah, making dua, all of those things, keep some of those a secret, because what you want to do with that is you want to build a relationship with Allah. And the example that he gave was really nice, in that Ibrahim Islam, for example, was one of the best is known to be one of Allah's best friend. And we also want to strive for that, and we want to be friends with Allah. We want to be someone who is in constant communication with him, and in constant remembrance of him, and in the same way that you would with your friends, right? You don't just hit your friends up, at least your close friends. Like you want like your best friend, for example, if you talk to her every single day, you should talk to Allah every single day. Like it should be that kind of relationship. And then in the same way, because you have those moments with your friends that are like you have inside jokes, and you have those moments where like you you guys have like secrets between you, and you have things that only you guys know and nobody else does. That's what you also want with Allah. You want to have those moments with Allah that is just between you and him and nobody else. And I thought that was really nice. Another thing is to remember that Allah is more merciful than he is a punisher. I hope I worded that right, but I know that we should be fearful of Allah's punishment, but we should also remember that Allah is more merciful than he is a punisher. He would much rather forgive us than punish us. But all we have to do is just ask for that forgiveness. Like that's all. And just saying like astaghfirullah like throughout the day, or literally just asking for like repentance or forgiveness in your own words. But that's all you have to do is just ask him. Like he's just waiting for you to ask him. That's it. Another thing is that you should be selfish with your good deeds. Like you should you should make it a point to be selfish with the amount of acts of worship that you do, or the ibadah that you do, or even like for example, like how I said that I hope this benefits one of you guys so that I can gain reward. Like that's a little bit selfish, like that's me saying like I want like at least one person to take this and like do something from this so that I in turn get the reward. And that's kind of like go out of your way to like give charity and like be selfish with the good deeds that you do. You know how people gift, like people like John Namazes or like prayer mats and like Qurans and things that will basically like rack up their good deeds as well as yours. Like that's an example. Like you want them to use the stuff that you gave them because so that you can get the good deeds. And there's not anything wrong with that, because that's basically like you being selfish for your akhirah and like for your afterlife, right? Also, Ramadan is made special and made different because of the different acts that you bring into the month and take away from the month, which is why we feel that spiritual high or that Ramadan vibe. Like I know sometimes people are like, oh, why is Ramadan feeling off this year? Or why is like something is like Ramadan's not hitting like it used to. And obviously it's a different experience for everyone, and everyone has different circumstances. So that is definitely an account you have to take in mind. Like some people, just bringing like mental health into this as well. Like some people's mental health can affect the way that they're able to practice their deen and everything. And so remembering that as well in with this, but even just like those few acts that you add into the month is how it's made special, right? Like for example, this is something I heard today, is that when you feel that Ramadan like high, or that Ramadan feeling, it's because you feel a difference between what was before Ramadan and what is during Ramadan. For example, in the masjid, there's not as many people in the masjid before Ramadan, or like or even after Ramadan, like basically when it's not Ramadan. But when it is Ramadan, every single night there's way more people than there would have been in any other night. And that's that Ramadan feeling of like, okay, there are people here because it is Ramadan. And even if that's your only interaction with that Ramadan feeling, like that's okay. Like it's just like you going to the masjid those couple of times that you were able to go, and feeling that okay, I'm here, and also you're there also because it's the month of Ramadan. Maybe you wouldn't have gone before Ramadan, but we should make it a point to try to go to the masjid as much as possible. So I think that's another point as well. Another thing also is that Allah sees your efforts and He's listening to you. He's there for you, and all you have to do is take your first step towards Him. This is similar to asking for forgiveness, and like He is ready to forgive you, but you just have to take that first step. Another point is that Allah's mercy is shown to us sometimes by the acts of ibadah that we do. There's so many ways that we see Allah's mercy in our life, but one of those ways is that in the worship that we are able to do, that is also an act, that is also Allah's mercy to us. Like when we're able to actually sit down and read Quran and have that time to do that, that is Allah showing us mercy in that way. When we're able to pray and go to the masjid and be able to have that community, if you are able to have it. I know some people, it's really hard for them to be able to find that community because they don't live in a place that has like a masjid near them or like a really big Muslim community near them, and they would have to like go out of their way, and like it takes a lot more effort out of you as opposed to someone who lives near so many different masjids and all of them are full and busy, you know? And so having that ability too is also a mercy from Allah. Even just like being able to go, even if it is far and if it's not, you don't live in a heavily Muslim populated area, being able to donate to charity is also a mercy from Allah of Him being given that money to you and Him providing you that means of being able to give that money further into someone else's hands. But all of that is a mercy of Allah to you because He's giving you the ability to worship Him and to gain reward and gain His forgiveness. And I think that's also something that we should be thankful for, and also something that we should actively pray for too. Like we should make dua that Allah gives us the ability to do those things, and maybe just in those duas being accepted is how you will see a change as well in terms of the more worship you're able to do. Just being able to ask for the ability to do all of those things, I think, is also important. Last thing is that nobody is perfect. Don't compare yourself to anyone else. Someone may seem very pious and religious and on the outwardly, which, hopefully that they are, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they are, right? Everything comes down to intention, which is in the heart, which nobody can see except for Allah. So, and somebody on the other hand might seem like they're they're not religious or they're not practicing or they're not doing this and that, but they might actually be doing this and that. And again, like your relationship with Allah should be a secret, not in the sense of you completely like don't do anything outwardly. Like there is still a big component of Islam and us doing things as a community and outwardly showing that also we are Muslim, but there's no need to judge someone for whether or not they are practicing, or even if they are, and seeing them and being like, oh my god, like they're so good, like I'm not gonna ever get to that level. I think that's another thing too with Allah's mercy, is that Allah is so merciful that He could bring you up to that level. There's no reason to think that He can't. It's just everyone starts from zero when they're born, and everyone gets to that point somehow, right? And like that could be you. There's no reason that can't be you. You just have to ask. I think that's a good ending point. Yeah, I hope this was a good little reflection time, but those were just my thoughts that I had right now as I'm sitting here at 1:24 a.m. on a Saturday night. I hope you all have a wonderful end to your Ramadan and that there is something that you are able to take away from it. I hope you also have a wonderful Eid. Hopefully, we'll come out with another episode after Eid, so stay tuned. I think at the moment I am going to try to do like one episode bi-weekly, so every 2 weeks. And then as we continue on this journey, maybe that will be more. Let's see. Let me know how guys' Ramadan is going and what parts of this reflection made you think or that you related to, or that you any thoughts, any thoughts, anything in your brain. Tell me. Okay? Okay. Well, have a good night. Bye.